Now, the recognized fact that this mode of inculcating a religious or a philosophical idea by a dramatic representation was constantly practiced in the ancient world for the purpose of more permanently impressing the conception would naturally lead to its adoption by all associations where the same lesson was to be taught as that which was the subject of the mysteries. The tendency to dramatize an allegory is universal because the method of dramatization is the most expedient and has been proved to be the most successful. The drama of the third or master's degree of Freemasonry is, as respects the subject and the development of the plot and the conduct of the scenes, the same as the drama of the ancient mysteries. There is the same thanatos, or death, the same aphonism, or concealment of the body, and the same heuresis, or discovery of it. The drama of the master's degree begins in sorrow and ends in joy. Everything is so similar that we at once recognize an analogy between Freemasonry and the ancient mysteries. But it has already been explained that this analogy is the result of natural causes and by no means infers a descent of the modern from the ancient institution. Another analogy between the mysteries and Freemasonry is the division of both into steps, classes, or degrees, call them what you may, which is to be found in both. The arrangement of the Masonic system into 3 degrees certainly bears a resemblance to the distribution of the mysteries into the 3 steps of preparation, initiation, and perfection, which have been heretofore described. But this analogy, remarkable as it may at first view appear, is really an accidental one, which in no way shows an historical connection between the 2 institutions. In every system of instruction, whether open or secret, there must be a gradual and not an immediate attainment of that which is intended to be imparted. The ancient adage that no one suddenly becomes wicked might with equal truth be read that no one suddenly becomes learned. There must be a series of gradual approaches to the ultimate point in every pursuit of knowledge, like the advancing parallels of a besieging army in its efforts to attain possession of a beleaguered city. Hence the ladder, with its various steps, has from the earliest times been accepted as a symbol of moral or intellectual progress from an inferior to a superior sphere. In this progress, from the simplest to the most profound arena of initiation, from the inception to the full accomplishment of the instruction whereby the mind was to be gradually purged of many errors by preparatory steps before it could bear the full blaze of truth, both the mysteries and Freemasonry have obeyed a common law of intellectual growth, independently of any connection of the one with the other institution. The fact that there existed in both institutions secret modes of recognition presents another analogy. It is known that in the mysteries, as in Freemasonry, there was a solemn obligation of secrecy, with penalties for its violation, which referred to certain methods of recognition known only to the initiates. But this may safely be attributed to the fact that such peculiarities are and always will be the necessary adjuncts of any secret organization, whether religious, social, or political. In every secret society, isolated from the rest of mankind, we must find as a natural outgrowth of its secrecy, and as a necessary means of defense and isolation, an obligation of secrecy and methods of recognition. On such analogies, it is, therefore, scarcely worth while to dilate. Thus, then, I have traced the analogies between the ancient mysteries and modern Freemasonry in the following points of resemblance. 1. The preparation, which in the mysteries was called the lustration. It was the first step in the mysteries, and is the entered apprentice's degree in Freemasonry. In both systems, the candidate was purified for the reception of truth by washing. In one, it was a physical ablution, in the other, a moral cleansing. But in both, the symbolic idea was the same. 2. The initiation, which in the ancient system was partly in the lesser mysteries, but more especially in the greater. In Masonry, it is partly in the fellow crafts, but more especially in the master's degree. 3. The perfection, which in the mysteries was the communication of the aspirant of the true dogma, great secret symbolized by the initiation. In Freemasonry, it is the same. The dogma communicated in both is, in fact, identical. This perfection came in the mysteries at the end of the greater mysteries. In Masonry, it is communicated at the close of the master's degree. In the mysteries, the communication was made in the Sacrum, or holiest place. In Masonry, it is made in the Master's Lodge, which is said to represent the Holy of Holies of the temple. 4. The secret character of both institutions. 5. The use of symbols. 6. The dramatic form of the initiation. 7. The division of both systems into degrees or steps. 8. And the adoption by both of secret methods of recognition. These analogies, it must be admitted, are very striking, and if considered merely as coincidences, must be acknowledged to be very singular. It is not, therefore, surprising that scholars have found it difficult to resolve the following problem. Is modern Freemasonry a lineal and uninterrupted successor of the ancient mysteries, the succession being transmitted through the Mithraic initiations which existed in the 5th and 6th centuries? Or is the fact of the analogies between the two systems to be attributed to the coincidence of a natural process of human thought, common to all minds and showing its development in symbolic forms? For myself, I can only arrive at what I think is a logical conclusion: that if both the mysteries and Freemasonry have taught the same lessons by the same method of instruction, this has arisen not from a succession of organizations, each one a link of a long chain of historical sequences leading directly to another, until Hiram is simply substituted for Osiris, but rather from those usual and natural coincidences of human thought which are to be found in every age and among all peoples. It is, however, hardly to be denied that the founders of the speculative system of Masonry, in forming their ritual, especially of the third degree, derived many suggestions as to the form and character of their funeral legend from the rites of the ancient initiations. But how long after Freemasonry had an organized existence this funeral legend was devised, is a question that must hereafter be entitled to mature consideration.